we'll get into that because I don't want to blow all the stuff now. Yeah.
I don't want to blow my movie wad.
I want to blow the whole movie load in the pre-show.
Yeah, we'll have premature exasperation. You know, we can't have that. You're listening to Season 4 of That's Light, the podcast designed with your laughter in mind. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be entertained.
That's life.
And we're back. Yes, sirree, and you can hear it there, avid listeners. Pete is alive.
That's right.
He's not vomiting
or
I'm excreting anything at all except for cigarette smoke.
Yes, which that's a normal thing.
Yep, and we are
it's a normal, healthy thing.
We are back here with episode 102. Finally,
yeah.
Pete was ill for a little while there.
Yeah, so that was terrible.
Yeah. And so we put some material out. Check it out if you haven't already, because it's pretty funny.
Oh, my goodness. I laughed like an idiot.
Little appetizers there for you to giggle at.
See some fucking kick.
All right, let's see some kick. Let's see some fucking kick. That shit still makes me laugh. I've got people who message me that on Facebook, which is awesome. Just out of the blue. Let's see some fucking kick. I'm like, that'd make a great T-shirt.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Fucking,
oh yeah,
that would make a great. I would wear that shirt. What does that mean?
Go check it out. That's lightpodcast.com. But yes, so we are back with episode 102.
Yes, the long anticipated.
Yes.
Much awaited.
Yeah, never duplicated. Episode 102.
Yes.
We are
Except
here.
No substitutes.
Coming to you pseudo live and direct.
As live as we get.
As live as we can be.
And much more live than last week.
That's right,
At least in my case.
But we have so much stuff for you today.
Oh, yeah.
We got a wonderful What's
Buckle
New.
up, kids.
Yeah, we're about to get hip deep in the funny.
It's going to be a mixed media review.
It's going to be probably the biggest mixed media review we've ever done.
Yep.
We've got books. We've got
movies out the
movies
wazoo.
out the yin yang. We've got games.
Yep.
We've got it all. So if you got a hankering for some entertainment related jibber jabber.
Is this the
oodles.
episode for you? Holy
yes,
shit.
we do. So let's get into the what's new. Pete, tell us about the illness.
So this was the worst thing ever. Because so it's all started this July 5th. Now the 4th I went out. The 4th I went out to a mutual buddy of the shows.
My cousin Antoine.
Mr. Antoine Henry had some
yes, sir.
Some really great barbecue and stuff because I was over fixing his computer.
Oh, dude, I was so jelly when I saw the pictures.
Oh, I had to.
There was zero barbecue happening at my house. And I'm like, oh, dude.
It was great. Yeah, we show up and there's like his woman had been marinating these ribs for 24 hours. And
that's how you got to do it.
He pulls them out the tinfoil. You could just smell it.
Oh, yeah, that smell, these ribs got love.
Oh, my goodness. They were
got
fucking
strength.
amazing. Yeah.
These are ribs with strength.
So he starts the grilling and whatnot, and I'm over there, and like we're hanging out and having a good time. And
smell that goodness.
He was like, oh, yeah, you got to try some of this. You got to try some of that. Yo, you're black today. You're going to eat all this food. It was awesome. It was so funny. Oh. And his family is so super cool, too, because they were all just like, I'm the only white dude there.
Isn't that awesome? I love moments like that.
Yeah. And they were just like,
hello, my painted
what's
brothers
up, white
and
guy?
sisters.
And I'm like, yes, I'm the token white guy. This is awesome.
I finally get to be the minority. This is cool. You guys are being way more gracious as a race than white people were when we were in the majority. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you very much. You're actually feeding me, not enslaving me. This is great.
I got to meet his sister and her sons, and like his sons were there, and some family friends were there, and it was a really good time. And so I had a blast. And so then Saturday, I woke up, and I was supposed to hang out with a buddy of mine, but I was feeling kind of crappy, and I was just like, I was not feeling so great.
Yeah, I think that's when I shot you a message. I was like, hey, maybe podcast tomorrow, and you were kind of like, yeah, well, okay, yeah. You were like, yeah, okay.
Should be all right, because I was thinking, like, I feel shitty today, but
you feel better
maybe,
tomorrow. Get some rest.
Yeah, I'll just hang out and just take it easy, and it'll be whatever. Because I didn't really drink a lot. I had maybe 4 beers.
Yeah,
that's
nothing. With all the food, that's nothing. I mean, come on.
Exactly. I wasn't drunk at all, and I wasn't like but didn't partake in any of the smoking that was going on. or anything like that. So I was just like, all right, I don't know. I'm just feeling kind of crappy. My stomach wasn't upset. I just had like this crazy, like this headache. It was just kind of there, like a niggling headache, but just enough to make me not want to do anything and feel shitty. Sunday, I woke up with the headache had like quadrupled. I'm like, okay, we're bordering on migraine territory. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that's when you were like, all right, dude, I have a migraine from hell. Can we do this like tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. That's fine.
Yeah, because I figured I don't know what's wrong with this, and I had waited throughout the day to see if it was going to go away. But by the time I texted you, I was throwing up water.
Yeah.
Like it was like I didn't eat all day. I was just trying to drink fluids, but couldn't even keep fluids down.
See, I had all week at that point because I'm just like, wife and kids are on vacation with the in-laws, so I was wide open. I'm like, yeah, dude, if you want to wait till tomorrow night, that's just as good as tonight for me. So all right, I'll go watch a movie.
Yeah, so I was like, oh man, this is fucking terrible. Just like throwing up, sleeping, and throwing up, just only getting up to throw up. I had like I was drinking tons of water, and then I threw it all up, and I'm like, well, that's not good. So then I just sipping on water.
Yeah.
And even just like I got through maybe like a quarter of a bottle, threw that right back up, and was like,
you're hoping. I hope
bad.
some of this gets soaked in.
Because now I'm thinking, all right, I've already got a migraine. If I start getting really dehydrated, that's going to make that worse.
Oh, a million
which is going to
times
make
worse.
Throwing up worse.
Oh yeah,
and I'm
spiral. Suck.
It's just so. Finally, I ended up just passing out and sleeping for like 12 hours. Woke up Monday, no change. And went, well, I'm not going to work, and I definitely ain't podcasting tonight.
Yeah,
so.
you're just like, dude, can we just do this on the weekend? I'm like, Pete is really sick. God damn.
So
He's got the itis.
This is fucking terrible. So Tuesday, I felt better, where I was able to keep food down,
but not
good. But I was like, fuck it, I got to go to work.
Yeah, because you had work and you're still recovering from sickness. It's like, yeah, better just wait.
I go to work on Tuesday, and it's fucking hot as balls. And
that's like a magnifying
still
glass.
not feeling great. I toughed out the entire day, and I was just like, F this. Because I thought about leaving early, but I'm like, no, I got to let me just tough it out. I'll stop thinking about it. And so I suffered through the day, and then ended up not going in on Wednesday because Tuesday just set me back a day.
Yeah, any of the recovery you did was just sweat it out.
So that wasn't good. So lost 2 days of work, which sucks. But I finally stopped feeling like shit halfway through Wednesday, and I'm like, all right, I'm actually better now, like for real. So I'm going to continue to not do anything.
And just take it easy.
And then from then on out, I was fine. So it's like, all right, cool. Like back to normal, everything's good. Went to work. So I have some theories about this because I noticed
Where
I had...
did the migraine come from, though? Do you
see, I don't know.
Really terrible migraines like
I don't get headaches.
Crippling... See, I don't get migraines at all myself.
I don't remember the last time I even had a headache, let alone a migraine.
Yeah, like I'll have like maybe usually allergy season, and so it's like some kind of like sinus related thing, and I'll have a day where every so often I'll get like a head pain. I'm like, this sucks. But that's as close as I ever get.
And yeah, I'm kind of bored. Like I do similar shit to that. So what I think might have been part of it is I stopped drinking energy drinks. I'm done with all that. So it might have been my body readjusting itself.
Wait, we have to run on our own power?
To being normal. But that was fucking terrible. But I haven't, which is, I think, a good thing as far as health things go.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I haven't touched that shit.
Like, what kind of energy drinks? You drank, like,
the Monster energy
See, the
drinks,
Monster. See, that's the thing.
Which is full of, like, chemicals
sugars
and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's why I like
really terrible for you.
The 5-hour energies, it's just, like, a bunch of vitamins and a little caffeine.
And that's the other thing is that, like, because I never drank any of those and anything. But
dude, they're
I gotta tell you,
really good.
I feel a lot better now having gotten off of that stuff because I feel like a normal fucking person.
Yes,
again. Like,
I'm normally awake right now.
I wake up in the morning, and once I get going, I feel fine. It's like I'm not dragging ass because I didn't get a caffeine boost or anything, you know.
Dude.
So
yeah,
it's actually kind of nice.
Much. Yeah, definitely Monsters too much.
Because I was drinking like 2 in the morning.
Dude.
That was it. I would only drink them in the morning, but it was still, it was like way too much.
That's so much sugar.
Oh, yeah.
That's like enough sugar to kill probably an entire bus full of diabetics.
More than likely.
Yeah, definitely. That's not so good. That's enough to make Stephen Hawkins get up and dance.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
that's not so good.
But but it was like to that point where, like, you know, it's like if I had one, then I would be like kind of awake.
Yeah. Well, why bother drinking just one to be kind of awake? You may as well take two.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, no, because one, it's way too expensive to do that.
Yeah, they're a little pricey.
They're fucking expensive as shit.
That's why I like the 5 Energy Ultras. They, I'm like, I get like the big like 10 pack
Case
or whatever.
of them, yeah.
So it's like $20, but each one I only take half of each one. So I'll take like half when take half when I'm starting my day at work sometimes.
Yeah.
And then take the other half around 7, 8 o'clock. And it's not so bad that way. And only when I'm really tired.
Yeah, I feel a lot better now of just being able to get through a day without any kind of chemical
or throwing up
type of reinforcement. Yeah, and actually, you know, being able to keep everything in my stomach that I put there.
That's the only
kind of
good
handy.
thing about being that sick is once it completely passes and you actually get to eat, it's like you appreciate the fucking hell out of everything.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, it's just the best. Like when your appetite starts to return and you're just thinking of all that food you want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, I'm going to eat the hell out of this. I'm going to eat the ass out of that double cheeseburger. I'm going to make some spaghetti buckets. It's you know what? It's ironic. This is kind of like a bookend for the entire year. Because if you recall, and our avid listeners from last year may recall as well, when my wife and kids went with the in-laws last year, I was like, all right, they're gone, and I'm going to do all this shit. You know, I told my wife, I'm like, look, because financially we were like kind of strapped. I'm like, I'll just work tons of overtime.
Yeah.
I'm going to get all caught up.
I do remember
great.
that. Yep.
And they left on a Sunday, and I took them out to dinner to the Texas Roadhouse. And my
you got struck with the fucking...
I was struck down low, dude. Well, she was 13 at the time. She got mushroom. Had mushrooms, cheese, onions, or some kind of like upgraded hamburger in the shape of a steak thing that she likes to get.
Yeah.
I don't know. I called it I think it was like the ground chuck wagon kids feast. I call it the up chuck wagon kids feast because she got that. And I was like, but her braces, she just got them adjusted.
Yeah.
Like that Friday.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the wires was digging to her gums. She couldn't eat it. I said, we'll take it home. Don't worry about it. And she forgot it in the refrigerator. So I'm like, well, I don't want it to go to waste. So I took it out, put it on the counter, got distracted. Like maybe 2-3 hours later, I ate it. I really regret the 2-3. I regret all of it.
Right.
But I really regret the 2-3 hours because I think like a Petri dish.
It just started growing the death.
Yes. And so I ate it. And I went to work Monday, and towards the end, I was like, ooh, I'm so burpy. Ooh, I feel kind of funny. And then the shitting began, and it was just like a fever, Now, my car died as well.
Yep.
So I had to borrow my in-laws' car so that I could get to the doctor, and I just like laid down, went to the bathroom. Dude, I nearly shit myself like 10 times at the doctor's office. He's like, dude, if you start throwing up, you have to go to the hospital. And, dude, that was just fucking awful. I had to put towels on the fucking bed. That's how, like,
that was one of the...
sleep for an hour and then get woken up by an emergency. Every bathroom trip was a fucking emergency. It was a prayer, dude.
And you don't have that far to go from your bed to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm just sweating, just profusely. Just
that was the one bonus to my being dead this week is that it was all centered in the head area. I never got feverish. You know, it was only coming out of one end. Yeah, so like that was the only saving grace to that, but it was still debilitatingly fucking awful.
That was terrible. So it's kind of weird that exactly 1 year later, like it would be like they would show that, then it would say 1 year later, and then you just be like, oh, I don't feel so good.
Yep. And what really, really made it suck is that this was my first year with a legit holiday because at my job last year for 4th of July, that was also the last holiday I had before I started in the digital department with the 4 10-hour day shifts.
Oh, yeah.
But our digital department is 7 days a week. The only days off, fully off, the entire department has are Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. That's it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Otherwise, it's always working. There were no more holidays after that.
Someone's got.
So exactly 1 year later, after having no holidays, I had a legit paid 3 day off.
Right on July 4th.
Holiday weekend.
And then you have
and
the
I
weekend.
was super, like everybody, I was telling everybody how excited I was because I got these days off and it's going to be great. It's a real holiday. And then fucking just like the hand of whatever God you believe in just smack the shit out of that. And it's like...
Begin puking.
Yeah, so that kind of sucked.
Man,
but
well, you look a lot better and healthier and stuff now.
Yeah, I feel a lot better.
Yeah, you don't look
just
like
generally.
I've
been feeling a lot better, like overall, because I've been like cutting out a lot of bullshit from my diet, and you know, and other things that aren't exactly healthy for me. I've been stopped doing. So the next step is to. I've been considering quitting smoking, but it's one of those things I like doing. So I'm going to invest in like how Angry Tim has one of those real
the
legit electronic cigarettes.
The vapors.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Angry Tim. Here's a health update. He had 2 days out. Not this week, not next week, but the week following. He's going to finally get the grill completely done.
Yeah, his wife was telling me about
all
that.
out. And so all he had to do was make it till then, because I mean, it was like Afghanistan in there. It's fucking a mess, and he's getting it all taken out, and that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming.
So much happier as a person and healthier, because that's you got all that corpseness. It's going down in your stomach. It makes you just awful, you know. And just psychologically, I mean, you know, when you can smile, that's great. It's so important.
You feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
It's a big self-esteem boost.
And so I was like, this is terrific. And then, of course, then he gets like the worst abscess he's ever gotten. Like, Steph called, he couldn't even talk. So she's telling me this, like, because he's calling out. And she said his mouth was so swollen that it was like bruising his eye.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
That's an emergency room abscess.
Yeah, so they said, dude, we're just going to fucking fill your mouth with fucking, like, bleach, and then we're going to rip this out of your head, and hopefully your whole jaw doesn't come off like one of the undead characters in World of Warcraft you can roll. And and if you survive, then we'll do the rest of the shit. So he survived. He actually was back to work, thankfully.
Well, that's good, yeah.
But, well, I didn't get sick this week, Pete.
Well, that's good.
Totally thought I was.
Because, it's bound to happen.
But,
I took that one for the team.
Yeah, because when you said you were sick and everything, I'm like, no, that's cool. Just stay away.
Yeah,
until you're better.
You're just like, I ain't catching shit.
I cannot get sick, especially as my first year supervising. The only time off from work I've had has been like months in advance. I'll take a safety day. That's it. So you know, I've been so lucky so far.
I keep calling our PTO days safety days at my job.
But, so, you know, that's been going great. But, let's see, the wife and kids left Sunday morning, and I was like, oh, they came and gave me hugs and kisses and everything. And they left. And I was like, oh, wow, you know. At first, I, like, celebrated just being able to walk around the house. Like, I didn't even, like, clothe myself, like, Sunday at all, except to go out to the movies, obviously. Can't go to the movies naked. But I was just like, this is awesome. I can just I don't even have to get dressed. I'm like, this is great. I'm just going to game. So I went hard, like, gaming, and then I took a bath, and I'm just reading a book for hours in the bathtub. I'm like, this is awesome. And then by the second, not even by the second day, by the end of, like, the first night, when I realized, you know, my family's not here. I don't like this. They're supposed to be here. And then it was just, like, daddy feels for, like, the whole, and emotions, like, the whole rest of the week. But I did get some stuff done for the podcast. I got some funny stuff out. I was happy about that.
Yeah, some really quality, funny little bits.
And more to come. More to come. I'd like to do something kind of odd involving action figures with you. We're just going to...
Somehow that sounds dirty, but
all right.
We're
just going to goof off with some action figures, and then I'm going to throw some incidental music and some theme. It's going to be... Maybe we can act out little scenes. It's going to be goofy. I don't know. We're going to see where our weirdness and ridiculousness will take us.
It'll be a strange trip that should hopefully be amusing for everyone.
Yes. But, so yeah. So that's what my week has been, like work and movies and stuff and reading.
Yes.
And all kinds of things. And speaking of all those kinds of things, Pete, you've seen movies too.
Oh, yeah.
You play games, too. I play games. We have so much. Let's jump right the fuck in.
Yep.
Let's go balls deep into our segment we like to call our mixed media review. Whether it's movies, TV shows, video games, or books, we have the half-assed commentary you crave. It's Mixed Media Review. That's right. You read it, you watch it, you play it, you listen to it, and we will babble inanely and ridiculously about it.
Yep, because that's kind of what we do here.
That's what we do best. It's our Mixed Media Review. We have so much to do
Oh,
tonight.
my goodness. Do we have a lot of media to mix up?
Oh, yeah. We've got... I just finished the last in a series of books, Pete. They're awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear about this.
The first one's called... they're both by Jeff Salyard. He's a relatively new author.
Yep.
Fucking cool guy. Actually chatted with him briefly on the Facebooks.
Cool.
The first book's called Scourge the Betrayer, and the second one's called Veil of the Deserters.
What is the second one again?
Veil of the Deserters.
Veil. Okay, cool.
And the second one title makes sense. Well, I'll give you a little brief
Synopsis
of the world and stuff like that. But the author, Jeff Salyard, he was born and brought up in the northern parts of Illinois. From an earlier age, he was into fantastic worlds that spawned further worlds in his imagination. By day, he is a book editor for the American Bar Association, which sounds so very boring compared to this awesome work that he does. I guess he gets so frustrated by having to hack at the words. He's just
he's got to make something more exciting happen.
I need to unleash passion. But by night, he steadily works on writing about new worlds that he creates with his imagination. They're great. Scourge of the Betrayer, there's this powerful empire known as the Sildoon Empire, which has an army of these fearsome soldiers. They're like total fucking badasses. And the rest, because they're very Roman Empire-esque in that they're big, they're expanding.
Yes.
They're constantly expanding. That's what they do. So they're kind of looked upon as baby-eating maniacs who'll stop at nothing to achieve victory. But there's a sort of time of peace now. There was last time they tried to expand, a few of the other kingdoms united, so it was kind of like a standstill.
Gotcha.
And it had to be maybe 10 years back from where the story starts. So it's not like generations ago or anything. So there's still some bad blood floating around with the rank and file.
Plenty of conflict.
Yeah. The new emperor, because they just got a new emperor, he decides to send along chroniclers, guys who are just going to go with their troops.
Yep.
And
record the goings-ons.
So he can read it, and so it's preserved as part of their history and things of that nature. Especially with certain special forces groups, which their job is to do these little top-secret-y things.
Like Black Ops missions type of deal.
Yeah, Black Ops in a fantasy kind of combat sort of way.
So the Swords and Sorcery Tom Clancy type of thing.
Yes, a lot like that. In comes Archimondos. He's hired. He's a scribe. He's not a warrior at all. He's hired to keep tabs, and he's hired to chronicle the exploits, of a band of rugged Sildoon warriors. They nickname him Arky, and he finds himself terrified but still fascinated.
So by
their thing.
What's his name in that fucking HBO miniseries about the dudes in Iraq?
Think of him as an embedded reporter.
Yeah.
A lot like that. Except
what the hell's the name
it's
of that
just
show?
Generation Kill.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking for.
So he's kind of embedded with them. Basically, they hire him, though, because they have
right.
to. He's the fourth one they've hired. I believe it's the fourth one. The other ones...
Not a big life expectancy with these guys?
Well, the other ones, they didn't do too well. They kind of broke some rules. They didn't mind their P's and Q's.
I see.
And so they lost their lives. They kind of make allusions to them before.
Yeah.
They're and it's funny because all the soldiers are oh, new scribbler. Isn't that nice? Wonder how long this one, let's take some bets, how long this one will last. But he finds himself frightened and fascinated by the men's enigmatic leader, Captain Brayler Kilcoin. He has this powerful flail named Blood Sounder, which is kind of like a cursed weapon. It's a flail.
Right.
And it's this cursed weapon which gives him he can use not ESP, but he can kind of like sense when violence is going to happen and shit.
Okay, some spidey senses to tingle.
Which is really, really handy if you're special forces or anything in combat. You want to know
when is the badness coming? Right?
Yeah, so let's get our shit together. But, and it gives him like, he's like a +10 to strike.
Right.
Like one of those kind of things to kick at D&D style here. But there's sort of a drawback. It's a cursed weapon.
Right.
And it haunts the user with memories of the people he's slain.
Oh.
Like, not just some memories, their entire lives, up to the point their feelings where he fucking killed them, and their last thoughts and everything.
Huh.
That's hard to handle.
Yeah, that'll make you twitchy.
So, Arky had previously performed boring, mundane work for, like, well-off merchants and, like, low-ranking nobles and just shit.
I see. So sort of a projection of the author. Kind of.
I didn't even think of it that way. You might kind of be right, though, because he's doing, like, work that's just not appealing to him. You know, I mean, he's glad he gets to write.
Yeah.
He wanted to do, this is why he took this. He wanted to do something, because, you know, he reads.
Yeah.
Which not a lot of people do. And he reads, like, all these stories of history. And he's like, this could be a chance for me to record history. I could be one of these voices from the past that I'm listening to, reading through. You know, this is a great opportunity. So he, like, not on a lark, but against his
better
fears,
judgment, probably. Yeah.
He signs up. So he gets involved with these special ops, these black ops crew, and that's kind of what the first one's about. The second one, you get a little more backstory. You get to meet Brayler's sister and the Memorodons, the Emperor. You get to go to the capital. You really start to get into the meat of the story in the second book. If you ask me, you could have just taken both these books and kind of stuck them together,
right?
Because they're not like they're not like very thick books. These are like George R.R. Martin, like 20,000 page things. They're a relatively quick read. But they're good. I love the battle scenes in them.
Yeah.
I love the camaraderie with the characters. It's great.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a well-developed group of characters.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's real slick. But let me finish up with this, because otherwise I'll start just jabbering on and forget about this. You get the Memorodons. You kind of hear about them. This is how like magic starts to come in. They think of them as like psychics. They can do like psychic ability kind of things, and they're usually killed in all the other. Anyone who shows like psychic abilities like this, they're a witch. Burn them, kill them.
Yeah, yes.
So, but
we don't get it. Kill it.
See, the Empire is different. The Empire's like, what you can do? What? That sounds useful. We're going to use you to expand our borders and to conquer. This is what we do. So it's neat, but they're totally not trusted. There's like this big distrust thing going on. So like the rank and file, they only, no matter how useful they are, they're just like, it ain't worth it. And much like the Roman Empire, they're taken from all the different lands that they conquer. It's kind of like a tribute, where it's like, all right, you give us your third son, give us your... They go and draw lots like every 10 years. You go, you do a bit of service. I think it's like 10 years where... It's called their manumission, where they... your 10 years, you're kind of like a slave.
Yeah.
They call it like you're a slave. But really, it sounds a lot like just intense boot camp and development into becoming a soldier and training. Because like they teach them not just that, they teach them how to read, they teach them history, they teach them all these lessons to make them very powerful, valuable,
useful,
smart soldiers.
People. That's a cool take on things.
At the end, you can either stay signed up, or you can just say no, thank you, and you can go back to wherever it is you came from. That's fine, whatever. But most people are like, why would we leave? This is awesome. Instead of like getting your ass kicked by everybody. And you're freed. You're a free man, but you're staying in the service of the Empire.
Yeah.
And they have like insurance. Like if you die, it's called the widow's coin. Your family's given money,
taken care of. That's
so. I mean, it's very Roman, but it's kind of cool. You know, in a way. The writing in this series now I can finally dip in this because this is like I've been dying to get to this part, but I wanted to flesh out the world a little bit.
Gotcha.
The pros of this, the writing in the series is terrific. Everybody is a wise ass. And it's that kind of sarcastic gallows humor sort of thing that you find among soldiers.
Yeah.
Which I personally love. It's what Band of Brothers, Generation Kill, any great war movie.
Yeah.
Or even in which are all based on real life. But even like when you have a group of people who've worked in a factory for a while and deal with just impossible shits that they still have to, in terrible conditions, but they still have to do
what they have
things.
to do, yeah.
Yeah, so they get that kind of gallows humor about shit. It's chock full of this, dude. Reading this just had me laughing out loud like every fucking like fifth or sixth page. I'm like laughing my ass off. I can't like hide it no matter where I am. It doesn't matter. I'm laughing. There's plenty of useful violence and wonderfully written battles. They're not bad guys per se.
Right. Well, war affords even good people to do some really terrible things.
Oh no, they're not necessarily good people either.
Well,
but all the violence in this is useful. It drives the plot. It's not an orgy of
nothing's gratuitous.
Yeah,
it's just there for the sake of
If it is gratuitous, though, it's gratuitous to make a point. It furthers the story.
Gotcha.
It's not war porn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not a Warhammer 40K book.
No, it is not. There is oodles of character development. In fact, in the first book, some people's complaints was, it's some people say, it's a little too short. I don't think so, but they say, nothing happens. It doesn't like take you into this, and I'm like, no. This is called character development, and it's done. It's so slick. You don't realize it's happening until you get towards the end, and they're about to set off on we got recalled to the Empire and stuff, and then ends, and you're like, well, I want to find out what happens to these guys. And you're like, hey, that clever rascal.
I care about his characters.
Yeah, look what he made me do. And between books, I was waiting for the next one to show up. I'm thinking about him. That's how I know a book has got good character development. Where I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm looking at this. Oh, are they going to solve this? Oh, I hope he finds this to take care of the ailments or this that he's getting from the cursed weapon. Wonder what's the deal with the gods and this, that, and the other. It's world building, one page at a time. It doesn't fatigue the reader.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll get gratuitous world building where
where you're reading Wheel of Time and you have 5 pages about how yellow someone's dress is and shit.
And you're just like, ugh, I get it. I've read fantasy before.
Yeah.
You don't have to over-explain this to me. I please just get to the action or get to the plot or get to the people.
Yeah.
It does not fatigue the reader because he focuses so much on the character development, and it's effortless world building because it's a lot of the action is taking place. There's lots of talk and interaction between the characters in the inn and in the city, and then there's they're in the it's like a grass sea kind of thing, except really it sounds like a bamboo forest, but if the bamboo never got beyond 12 feet kind of thing. And there's lots of talk and this going on. But it's character development. It doesn't feel like character development because you feel like you're just there listening to these really interesting characters talk about things that you're interested about because you want to learn more about what's happening. And it comes to you one thing at a time. It's a terrific pace. I loved it. And the second one is an orgy of discovery. And because you're tight with these characters, you're just like, yes! Oh, really? Oh, I want to know more about that. Oh, yes! So it was a great decision on the author's part to tell the story the way he did. So if you read the first book and you're just like, dude, just read the second book. That's why I said I wish you could have smushed them together because then they would have gotten to that and been like, oh, duh. Now I see what he's doing, that clever rascal.
Yeah.
Some facts about this world. The whole thing about the world is long ago, I think 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, there were gods, like real gods, not like our world with their pretend gods.
Right.
Real gods. And apparently mankind was I love this, mankind was such a disappointment that they left. They abandoned it. And they didn't leave the whole world. No, they said, no, fuck you. We're not leaving this world. It's ours. They made this thing called the God's Veil They're like, no, we're going to take this half. Fuck off. You live in the fucking... You
get the shitty parts.
You get the shitty parts.
Yeah.
Fuck you. So they just
That's
left.
a cool idea.
So you have this priesthood, this whole church, which were like, we worshipped you. This isn't cool. And like, nah, fuck off. And so the priesthood is trying to keep... The church is trying to keep their thing going. For a while, they kind of like nourished with their faith a few like much lesser gods and goddesses and demigods and shit.
Yeah.
But that shit dropped off too. They're because they're lesser gods. Nobody gives a shit about them. And because there are a few what they call cursed relics and weapons and stuff. And that's another thing these guys are looking for is information about that. But they made this thing called the God's Veil, and you hear about it, and then you learn more about it, and because the way he paces it, you're hungry to know about this shit.
Yeah,
because you're locked into this group, this platoon.
That's cool that they have like that he does, because that's one thing that annoys me about because some authors you'll get like you go along with the characters and they're doing stuff and things get referred to and people talk about it. But that's all it ever is.
Yeah.
It's just like, you hear about the stuff that exists in this world, but they never really go further than, this is a thing that's in the world that I've built. Just accept that it's there, but, you never get to see it because for whatever reason...
I just want to share these ideas.
It's never been worked in.
All the world building is necessary, and it comes in the course of the investigation.
That's what I like
stuff.
about... that's what I like to see, especially in fantasy, when it's just like, okay, got these cool ideas where there's stuff that's happened, and I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to introduce it to you, and then then it's done like how good TV is done too. When you get to an end of an episode, but you want to know what's going to happen in the next one.
The whole week
because
you're thinking
stuff.
about it. You're like, oh, what about this? What about that?
Oh, I hope they get to find this time.
Yeah. That's the feeling I got from this book. That's why I was like, oh, dude, I was going to do a mixed media review. I wanted to throw it in anyway because fucking that's how I was with several other different books. I'm just like, oh, I really dig Prince of Thorns, the whole Broken Empire series. And I'm like, oh, I really dig this, and I want to share it with people because I'm like, that's how I am when I read a cool book. I'm like, oh, I got to get this shit out there.
Yeah, you've brought me some really good reads. Prince of Thorns specifically. That's being the most recent one anyway.
Magic in this is it's a very subtle thing. You get the feeling kind of like
Lord of the Ringsy.
You know how the Sahara Desert used to be once an inland sea and was actually a lush tropical rainforest and climate change, and now there's just these little oases. That's the kind of feeling you get. The gods left, and now magic is a very
rare
smaller thing.
Okay,
which I dig. I like that there's blessed and cursed
That's
weapons.
actually, I think, my favorite flavor of magic. When it maybe at one point in the world used to be everywhere and commonplace, but now it's lost.
Yeah, and it's special when you find out about it.
Yeah, because that makes it more mysterious and potentially powerful because it's so rare and done in such a way that it's not like, I'm a mage and I cast fireballs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's been
the
done
Dragonlance-y thing. Which,
right.
Cute books. I loved them when I was a kid. It's just...
Can't read them now because go back to read it. I've tried it too. For Dragonlance, you go back to read it now. It's basically like reading someone's D&D minutes.
Yeah. A teenager's D&D minutes. It's just like, no. But, and I read through the whole original trilogies of Dragonlance again because I bought them anyway. And I was just like, this would be a great idea if it got in the hands of a really great author, and they just shaved off a lot of the shit and just stuck with it a little bit more. But I remember being a kid and I was like, this is incredible.
Oh yeah, when I was younger reading that, I couldn't put them down.
Yeah,
they were the best.
I was like, oh no, Flint died. Ooh,
yeah, but that paved the way to be able to
get on to better
real authors doing great works.
But it has its place. I'm not kicking shade on it.
It's not bad.
No, it's more for teenagers.
Yeah.
There's another role
when you just started playing D&D and you want to get into that world.
That's exactly where I was too when I read it. I was like, whoa, this is a total page turner. And the last, another thing I like about it, there's many realms in one empire. There's battles and wars going back and forth. But you don't get that information overload, which didn't really faze me with the whole Game of Thrones and everything, because I can handle it and I actually enjoy it. But I like how this is doled out. I like the pace of it. I like it's character driven, and you're seeing it through their eyes, and you're right there with them, with Arky. You're with those guys, which is, and you don't get fatigued. A lot of times when it's coming through one person's point of view, people will get fatigued. It takes a really clever bit of authoring to be able to go through one person's point of view and not sell a story.
Right, and have it not feel samey and boring.
Or just color it either all that person's viewpoint or not enough.
Right, when it's...
because
some of the third-person type stories are where it's just like, and this person is doing this and that, and it's just very, like...
The God's
monotone
view.
almost, you could say.
Again, it can work. You just got to be
well, that's what separates the authors from the people that just put words on a page.
I suppose so. I really dug that. I love that it's the covert ops and spy work employed by the Empire.
Yeah, see, that's what really interests me.
Really
that I don't think's ever been done.
Yeah, and it's so cool, that whole reporter embedded with them, and they're doing this covert stuff, and but it's still like swords and battling and shit like that. It's really neat. That intrigued me. That whole angle. It was refreshing, new, and I'm like, ooh, I want to see what's going on and what's happening. And I like that this is happening. This is neat. I never thought of this angle before. This is cool. And I also like that the Empire is in a constant... These are meat eaters. These are fucking alpha wolves. It's an empire of alpha wolves. They're all alpha wolves. There's no sheep. So they have to expand or they turn on themselves. And they just came through a period where they turned on themselves. That's why it's a new emperor. A lot of times... Emperor dies, new emperor rises up, and it's like or king rises, and his family and his son. It's a peaceful transition. Even if there's some intrigue, it's still accepted. This, they're just like, no, stronger emperor. Oh, we got a new emperor? Okay, cool.
Ape follows strength.
Yeah, it's very that, which is cool. But it's not like a dumb sort of, ooh, we're dumb only. It's you can't just be physically strong. You need to be intellectually superior, which I really dig.
That's
as
cool.
Well.
Yeah.
It is an empire of alpha wolves. They're all alpha wolves, which is awesome. So it's the only reason they don't rule the world is because in the lulls between campaigns they just turn on themselves.
Huh.
So the new emperor's idea is, though, his big thing is we're not going to turn against ourselves anymore, because each instead of think of like the platoon, you think Army, Marines, Air Force, Navy. You know how there's some...
Yeah, there's
a little bit of ire between
There's
them.
one... You're right. There's one cohesive military unit, but there's the individual branches.
Yeah, that do different
and they
things.
have a little...
Well,
they're like, oh, we're better than you. And oh, we're better than you.
Well, they're called towers.
Okay.
Because there's these huge, like, big towers, and each of them has the regiments and has their commander and everything like that. Has the general, and it goes down like that. And
this is... General so-and-so of the Black Brigade and whatnot.
Or the Wolf's Head Brigade or the Dragon Brigade or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And they're all very, very independent of each other in a way, and they're always scheming against each other because they're all alpha wolves.
Yep, right.
And the Memorodons are loyal to the towers, and this one emperor's, I won't say what he does, it's unprecedented, but he is consolidating power big time. So
because I'm really interested in reading these. So.
No spoilers. No spoilers at all. Except it's awesome. Read it. The only cons I could find with this is that there isn't more of it yet. There's just the first 4 books. But we got a...
so there's 2 out now, right?
There's 2 out now. You can get them on Amazon.com. Grab them, read them, leave a good review, because that's how I checked it out, was that the reviews were just like, no, this is awesome. I wish it was more of it. And when I read that, I'm like, oh, okay, I might give this a day in court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have a little sneak preview here of the next one, which I'll save to the end. A lot of people complain the first book is kind of meanders, but that's really called character development.
Right.
And it's paced slower, but that's good because it's tying you into these characters.
Yeah, you want to... Well, like you said, you want to like feel for the characters, and that's what keeps you going and wanting to continue on.
Totally.
To find out what the fuck happens.
I'm so addicted to this shit now. Damn it. If you look at both books so far as part of one bigger story, it's logical. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. it really helps cement. It really cements Arky and by proxy us into place with the Sildoon in such a subtle way you don't notice. Like just the fact that I said Sildoon, I just like automatically I'm thinking, oh, that's the Sildoon way. Oh, you accept it. You know, it becomes a lived-in world, and that helps as the story
those
develops.
are the best kind.
And it leaves you with all these questions which get answered in the second book about the God's Veil, about the gods, about magic, about this cursed weapon he has, which I love that it's a flail. I love that it's cool. They have these 2 deserter gods on them. They call them deserter gods. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, fuck them. Fuck the deserter gods. Because, they kind of said, fuck you, mankind. And humanity, like we do, are like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Now that you can't hurt us anymore, fuck you. And fuck you twice. And fuck you in the ear. And fuck you in the other ear. Fucking gods, we don't need you. But it's cool.
Bitches.
They have like these, they're these heads with spikes sticking out of them. And they're like got blindfolds on, and they're like metal, and they're just evil, twisted looking, and they're the image of gods, which makes you wonder, and they wonder too, what fucking kind of gods were these?
Yeah,
these were the mean gods.
Yeah.
This is fucked up. But I love that it's a flail. It's not a sword.
Yeah,
it's not a cursed dagger, which has been used. It's a flail.
It's a little bit more. I want to say unique of a weapon.
Yeah,
but it's a good choice. It's an underrated because those things are like a real
dude.
flail. They're nasty weapons.
And the guy did his homework about what flails can do to the human body and how they. And I love he must have done some research because it talks about when the flail flies around and it hits them and stuff, and it hits like the plate. It doesn't. Like it'll ring, but it doesn't hurt him. But then you can tell when you can feel when it cut through. And with it's not just the flail. It's like when a sword hits, when not every arrow penetrates. Like because Arky's like they're like, no, you're a crossbow dude now. Here, and he shows him how to use it. And he shoots. He's like, don't shoot unless you know you're hitting the bad guys. Fucking scribbler. And Muldoon, he's my dude. I love him because everything's a horse's cunt, but they can't tell because of his accent. Where's from whether he's saying a horse cunt or horse's cunt.
Nice.
And they finally confront him about it, and he answers in the most wise-ass, brutal way. He's like, "Well, no. Sometimes I do mean a horse cunt. Like, what fucking horse cunt you dropped out of? Sometimes." Like, for you asking me this question, I mean dumb as a horse's cunt. Because only someone who's dumb as a stinking, dripping horse's cunt would ask me if I meant horse cunt or horse's cunt when we should be paying attention to the fucking enemy that's coming here. They're such soldiers.
That's great.
I love the dialogue in this fucking thing. It's great. I did notice a few editing errors. Like a misspelled word here or the wrong word. I'm not sure. I should have asked him, but I'm not sure. I think this is like an internet publishing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rather than like some big time thing.
What was it? It might have been actually you that was telling me about it. There's somebody recently, like, no, it was Dave was telling us. He bought this book that somebody had written, but it was the copy to be edited that just got published due to an error in the self-publishing thing.
This is not that bad.
It's like, it wasn't like it was bad. It was just there was a lot of stuff in it that got edited later. So
that's the worst.
The final copy has like a few less pages than the original copy that Dave has because of this slight publishing error because a dude sent it to the editor and the editor was just like, all right, okay, it's done.
Yeah, fine.
Out it goes. Oh, wait, it wasn't done? I had to work on that? Whoops.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Publish it. No, it's nothing like that. It's just like maybe I could count like 4 misspelled words.
No, that's not that.
But, I have to nitpick because I had to find something wrong with it. Even the cover art's great on it. I dig the cover art. And a lot of times cover art, it's like, Or it's good, but then like you're reading the story
and it
has
you're like nothing to do.
Yeah,
with
and I'm like,
anything.
that didn't look like that, or he didn't describe it like that. No, it's like, oh no, that's really him. Oh, that's real. Oh look, that's Blood Sounder. Oh yeah. So it's very relevant to the story, and it doesn't give away too much either.
Yeah,
and it's exactly in my mind how I pictured as he described them to me, and their behavior and stuff. It really nailed it. So the cover art's cool. So if you check out the cover art, which I'll throw into this little review here, here and there, whatever, I'll splash it in there. It's pretty cool. All in all, it's 2 thumbs up from Carl for this one, man. I fucking
Nice.
dig
Well,
it.
I'm looking forward to reading it. So there's
Check it out. Scourge of the Betrayers and Veil of the Deserters. It's
so
2
there's
separate books
and
by
then there's
Jeff Salyards. And yes.
a third one?
That's right. And I don't know if it's like totally top secret or anything, but he did let me say it. So
Yeah.
Chains of the Heretic, which is the third one.
Okay.
Which is should quotes
Right.
around
Yeah,
it.
there's quotes there.
Because when you're writing, I can understand this. It's hard to say when a story's done. The story's done when it's done. When it's
Right.
done ejaculating out of your head through your hands, and then it's neatened up and tidied up, it's done. But it's supposedly
slated
for November 2015.
All right.
So
Got a ways to go.
you got a ways to go, but it's totally worth checking these 2 books out because you're going to be just as hungry. You're gonna be like, damn it. You're going to get that George Martin fucking fever, I call it, where you're just like, would you finish the next book? Oh. But it's worth a read. So check them out. Jeff Salyards, ladies and gentlemen.